Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Dental Podcast. My name is Neal Demazure, and this is the podcast about all things digital dentistry. And today, I'm super pleased to be here at the MOD Symposium in Boston. For those who might not have heard of the MOD Institute, they are the premier digital dentistry clinic, but also a training facility with an incredible team of clinicians and assistants that have one of the most progressive and advanced digital workflows that I've ever seen. In attendance here today, we have about 150 people from all around the world here coming together to learn how to up their digital game and kind of really take advantage of some of the digital tools that are out there today. They're doing live cases on stage of no prep 3D printed veneers, denture cases, all on X cases. There are breakout sessions where you can do hands-on exocad training of how to design all of those things I mentioned and more. And it's really just a great event put on by a great group. So today I'm very pleased to sit down with some of the MOD folks themselves, some of the other companies that are here in addition to ours, and also, of course, interview some of the attendees and see their thoughts on attending this awesome event. So without further ado, I want to give you a little bit of insight into the MOD Symposium Boston. Up first, we have Dr. Mike DeFee, one of the founding partners of the MOD Institute and one of the presenters here at the MOD Symposium. Dr. DeFee is going to go over some of the exciting new things that MOD is working on and some of the other things that we can look forward from them in the future. Enjoy. Dr. Mike DeFee, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you taking some time here. I know you're a very, very busy guy here at the event, kind of going all over the place, doing a lot of things. So I appreciate you sitting down for a few minutes with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So congratulations on this is your second MOD Symposium, right? The first
Yes.
one was a couple years ago out in Spain?
Yeah, 2 years ago in Mallorca, we did a joint event with the guys from the IDDA, which was a lot of fun and really kind of sparked the idea for us to do something like that in the US. The community building and just really getting to know a larger group of people, like in a setting where we're both doing some learning, but also having some really good social time, just really something we're super excited to be able to do.
Yeah, and I think, just from the reaction I've seen from the attendees here, they're super excited to be here. The hands-on aspect of it is just really compelling and gives them a lot of education and tools that they can take back to their practice to use. So I think it's a great event and just give you guys a lot of kudos for doing what it takes to put it on, which is not easy.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about a lot of kind of new things here that MOD has been working on for a long time and it is soon to be released. And one of the ones that I think is most intriguing is the AI system that you guys have been training for, I think, for the past 2 years?
Yes, for quite some time. Obviously AI is big buzz right now, right? Because the ability to operationalize and to build efficient systems for things that really could take a lot of mental and manpower to do, we can now use computers and machines to do that. And so we spent a long time really building and training this AI that indexes the collective knowledge of myself, Wally, Alan, all our faculty, all the content that we've ever put together. It's essentially like the Google of our collective dental knowledge. So you can jump in and say, hey, how do I bond a 3D printed veneer? It's going to spit out a video. It's going to spit out all the references and a step-by-step for exactly how to do that. So we've designed it in a way that it can make our knowledge much more easily accessible so that, say you're a clinician, it's lunchtime, you've got a procedure that maybe you don't do all the time, you need a quick refresh on. You just go in and type in, hey, I need to know how to do this. And it's going to give you those resources super fast in a very easily digestible way so you can be very confident going into those appointments.
Yeah, that's amazing. I saw Wally doing some demonstrations of it on the stage yesterday, and you're right, spits it right out there. And it's not, it's like a search engine, but it's not a search engine. It doesn't pull from anything else but kind of the brain trust of MOD. Right? And you guys have built a large language model, so to speak, with all of your publications and all of your videos. And it's like, it's like having all you guys on your laptop or in your pocket whenever you need them, right?
Exactly.
That's pretty slick. So how do people get access to that?
So that's part of a new initiative that we rolled out, which is the MOD Pro membership. So it's a yearly membership where you sign up and then you have access to the MOD AI. You have access to more short form video content that we've been working really hard on this year and will continue to update every month. 5 to 10 minute videos. We call them faculty insights, that are just key topics that we get lots of questions on, where we can just add more bulk of information to that. We're starting a MOD mastermind as part of that. That'll be done quarterly, where we're going to have doctors submit questions or cases that they want to work through live with one of us, and treatment plan and talk through how to handle those. So it's all part of that collective suite where we're trying to make the information and the education more accessible, more interactive, to really just continue to drive digital dentistry adoption.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you know, I'm so excited by what you guys are doing, because there's a lot of, you know, clinicians out there, KOLs out there that, you know, might, you know, get really fired up and enthusiastic about, you know, just printing or just scanning or just jaw motion tracking. But to have, you know, not only the individuals, you know, very high caliber individuals that you have, you know, as part of your team, to be enthusiastic and to really push the envelope on the whole workflow of digital dentistry is, I think it's just an amazing thing that you guys have been able to achieve in just, you know, a couple, 3 or 4 years?
Well, we started planning in fall of 2020, so almost 5 years.
Almost 5
but
years.
the official launch was in 21, the fall of 21.
That's incredible. So what comes next? I know you guys already have another symposium planned, I believe?
Yep, next summer, same dates in Austin. So we're excited to roll that out. We're just going to continue to build on the momentum with live patient cases in big format to help, you know, drive accessibility to the workflows. It's like what you mentioned. We really see the synergy comes from the workflow. While there's pieces that are changing, it's how do you put those together? And so that's what we strive to do in all of our education, is to build and train efficient workflows that people can take back to their practice very next day after class.
Yeah, that's great. So, you know, I'm a bit of a tech head myself, right? I always like to know what people are like kind of working on and some of the latest and greatest tech. Is there anything that you guys have your eyes on that you're like, you feel is really compelling in terms of technology that you can share?
Well, there's definitely some things that I can't share that we're under NDAs about, which I think are super exciting, that we'll see in the next couple months to maybe next year, some more noise around that have to do with All-in-X workflows. I think one of the ones that we've been testing is TrueButman's new iPad photogrammetry system.
Yeah.
Which is super slick, super fast, and you know, it's already very accurate, but they have a very high standard for where they want the accuracy to be before they're going to release it, and it's getting very, very close. So I'm excited to see that hit the market and disrupt some of these, you know, kind of big price barriers that we have around photogrammetry systems, and make that more accessible, because we know it's a really great technology, works really well for All-in-X, especially for surgical conversions, to make things faster and more predictable. And so now we need to get that price where it's accessible, more accessible for people.
Yeah, 100%. And have you already, so you've used it there clinically, have you already delivered some cases using it?
Yep.
Yeah, and just plops right down, good
to go.
fit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, that's pretty slick. So, I mean, again, I appreciate you taking some time. Super busy man here, but, you know, Dr. DeFee, thanks a bunch. And yeah, we'll see you on stage tomorrow. You're doing All-in-X tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll do All-in-X tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for having me, Neal. It was great to sit down and just chat about some exciting things that we have coming up.
Likewise. Thanks again, Mike.
All right, thanks.
Up next, I had the opportunity to sit down with Jules Chinamo. She's one of the long-timers over at Formlabs and is now the dental channel manager for Formlabs, spearheading the release of the Form 4B and their many of the new developments that they've had recently in the area of resins and a lot of other things. Jules had a lot of great information for us, so I hope you really enjoy my interview with her. Jules Chinamo, Formlabs.
Neal, imagine.
Thanks for sitting down with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see you guys here at the MOD Symposium in Boston. It's been a great time. We're on day 2 here. What do you think of the symposium so far?
While I'm taking frantic notes because I think it's so well done, Formlabs put on a sort of similar vibed event last year at the Longworth Marriott, and it didn't have the hands-on part of it, and so it kind of honestly didn't have the same like community feel. And it was sort of, you know, very top-down led, whereas this very much feels like everyone is invested and engaged and actually we'll be able to do some of the things after the conference.
Yeah, they do a really good job of that, and it's not easy. I mean, it's dozens and dozens of laptops, dozens of intraoral scanners, dozens of kits, and it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and a huge team. It's not one person putting this on.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, tell me, I mean, obviously Formlabs, has been like a mainstay of 3D printing and dentistry. You guys somewhat recently came out with the 4B, which has been a major improvement over the 3. The 3 was no slouch, but the 4 is really like kicking it up a notch. How has the market reaction been to the Form 4B?
Honestly, amazing. So I think seeing the trajectory of Formlabs in its entirety makes the Form 4B make a lot of sense. So we got into the dental market really early on in like desktop 3D printing land. We were really the first. And, so we had a lot of feedback based on the like 15 million dental prints printed. And we've taken all of that feedback from, over 100,000 printers globally to engineer the Form 4B and also make all of our resins, which we make ourselves in Ohio. So, and I like to tell people that, the Form 4B and the Formlabs ecosystem, we make the resin for the specific printer, and we make the software settings for the specific printer and the resin. And it's those 3 things working in unison that means you have almost 100% success rate, which the Form 2 certainly could not tout. Right. And the Form 3 was pretty good, but just was a little bit too slow for the industry and the way dentistry is going. So we're really happy with the performance of the printer. One of the astounding things to me, having been at Formlabs for the Form 3 launch as well as the Form 4 launch, is that we just aren't getting, printers back to repair. Like, when people are like, well, how do you repair the printers? It's like, well, actually the Form 4B, we just don't. Right. They're out there in the field, they're chugging along and
they just do the job.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah, we've been very impressed with it at Imagine. We've got a couple ourselves in our own lab that we use for a lot of our models and guides, and they work fantastic. One of the other big bits of news that has come out of Formlabs recently is the open material mode for the 4B, which is awesome, and I think a lot of people haven't heard about yet, and if they have heard about it, they don't exactly connect the dots of what it is. So tell us about open material mode.
Okay, so I'm so proud of Formlabs for all it does listening to the market. And the market very clearly and loudly said we want an open sourced printer.
Right. And we don't just want to use Formlabs resins, which they're great and all, but sometimes a certain doc wants a certain resin or whatever, Exactly.
And the Form 4B is such a capable printer. I like to say you're future-proofing your purchase by buying the Form 4B because it can print anything. We have this is on the other side of our business, but Formlabs makes a pure ceramic material that we can already print. So there's no level of ceramic fill that the Form 4B can't do.
That's awesome.
And so there's, the R&D time, of course, for materials is long because we want to come out with something that is the best on the market. So when we came out with premium teeth, for example, strength-wise, it was comparable to some other things on the market, a little better, to be honest with you, but it was faster to polish. And so we had that competitive edge there. And so we could confidently say to our customers, you could buy a different printer instead of Formlabs and use that different resin, or you could buy Formlabs and use this resin, which we think will give you the easiest workflow, which is what all dentistry wants, right? It's not a better 3D printer, it's an easier workflow. But of course, there's other companies, other resin manufacturers who have things on the market that have a different edge, and we didn't want to hold up our customers for our process. So, open it is, and it is a $2,500 software license for that Form 4B.
Yeah, and that's a one-time fee, right?
One-time fee, and if your printer, gosh forbid, gets replaced, you can it will go to the replacement
transfer to the next one. Exactly. Oh, great! Yeah, okay.
And the nuance there, of course, there's always some nuance, is that the third-party resin manufacturer needs to do the validation and make sure that they have settings available online before you go say I want to use this resin that maybe isn't widely available or Formlabs hasn't been working with in conjunction.
But I'm sure the resin manufacturers are motivated to do that because there's so many Formlabs printers out there. They're like, heck yeah, I want my resin to be able to print on Formlabs printers. So like you've already worked with, we were talking about it yesterday. So like Lucitone's good to go, Rodent Titan, Sculpture 2.0.
Yeah,
and there's many more that are like in the works right now that'll be available very, very soon. Right?
Exactly. And you also, just can see that we're working with very high level manufacturers on the resin side. So Lucitone makes this incredible product.
Yeah.
And they have a PDF online that has every bit of information you could possibly need to bring that workflow in-house. So, even though Formlabs isn't making the resin and we're not publishing those settings or the manufacturing guides, it's all there and available.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that's what you need, right? Between the printer, the right resin, and the right settings, and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Right?
And we never want any dental customer to feel like they need to tinker. Some of the larger labs, of course, they have their own R&D departments, and they can do that all day long. But
and more power to them.
Exactly.
But 9 times out of 10, you just want the printer to print the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's awesome. And like, I give you guys a lot of credit for being like, you know what? Let's not restrict people. Let's make it open. So,
and honestly, the price of the Form 4B with that open materials mode, even though it is an additional software license, is still lower than most printers on the market.
Yeah.
And sometimes customers and our partners will come to me and say, like, why is Formlabs the more affordable option? Is it, a starter printer? Like, no. This is the printer that after you've tried a couple different printers, you choose that. And where I see that the most is assistants and technicians who are using the printers. When they see the Formlabs workflow with the automated resin dispensing.
Yeah, that's big.
And the flexible build platform. I just watched the MOD doctor, scrape the denture teeth off of the platform. And there was some moaning and groaning about the process. And, so that flexible build platform changes the workflow.
Would you just like squeeze it like that and the prints pop right off?
Just squeeze it.
Couldn't be simpler.
And the alternative is a razor blade. He was using a razor blade. So it's a big quality of life improvement. And so, the people who are actually using the printer are like, we want that one. Which is very gratifying. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, and all designed and engineered here in the Boston area, which is awesome. So it was an easy commute for you, I hope.
Yes, it was. 12 minutes, I think. So our founder, Max Zabowski, came out of the MIT Media Lab, and we do all of our R&D here in Somerville, Massachusetts. And our materials team is here as well. And we are manufacturing all of our resin in Toledo, Ohio. Nice. Everything is, very high standards. The European biocompatibility standards and everything is very rigorously tested and audited. So that's important to us. We want to make sure that whatever, even on the non-dental side, that air quality is a huge concern, and that the things that are biocompatible staying in patients' mouth long term, they are not adversely affecting it.
Yeah. That's one thing I've always admired about Formlabs. Being at our company, I understand how difficult it can be to make just like the basic, go bys and the how-tos and the PDFs and the videos. Like it's work, and it's constant, right? And you guys do a very, very good job of having a super rich library of that, which I'm sure helps your end users tremendously. So props for that. You guys do a great job on that. So.
And we're doing more with video. So I think now everybody wants to consume their content in video. But I do like the older style of the PDFs because you can print it out. You can annotate it.
If there's right there,
if there's a workflow, the doctors are constantly asking me, like the print time on this, the print time on that. And it's like, okay, yes, print time is important, but what you're crafting when you're bringing 3D printing into your office is this workflow. And okay, if this takes 20 minutes, your assistant already needs to be doing something else with that time. So, whether it's designing the next thing or post-processing something else or working with a patient, it's like they have that time, and as long as it's managed properly,
right.
And so that's great to even have like a little sign up next to the printer of like, this is how long each thing should take.
Right.
So it's workflow time, not necessarily print time, because that's hands-off time.
Right, exactly. Right. So if it prints a minute or two faster, it's not going to make a big difference.
Exactly. Exactly. But the Form 4B is so fast that we can say 10 models in 10 minutes for a trimmed arch, which I've done myself and seen happen for myself, and it is. It's like, you barely get it started and you look away for a few and you're like, oh, wow, we're like done. Yes. Yeah. Now it's, we have some practices who will say like it takes just as long to scan as it does to print, which is wild because of how far the scanners have come too. Right. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Jules, thanks a bunch for taking some time to hang out with me and step away from the symposium here. I really appreciate it. So thank you. Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right. Up next, I took the opportunity to speak to some of the attendees of the MOD Symposium. These are folks that were just walking around the vendor exhibition area, walking by the Imagine table, and I asked them if they wouldn't mind sharing some of their experience with us. And one thing that really stuck out to me was just how very enthusiastic these individuals were, both to be there at the symposium, but also about digital dentistry in general. We got a great idea of how their digital workflow happens, where they're at in their digital education process, and a variety of other things that they had to share with us. So here we go with some of the MOD Symposium attendees. Hey, how are you doing? So
I'm great.
Let me introduce yourself real quick.
I'm Dr. Hagen. My practice is in New Jersey. I've been in practice for over 35 years.
Wow, awesome.
I brought a partner in 4 years ago, and then we started making a lot of changes as far as digital design and printing and milling.
Yeah. That's great. So you're here at the MOD Symposium in Boston. Is this your first MOD event?
No, I think this is our 5th MOD event.
Is it really?
Yeah, we did occlusion and we did the all-on, the first all-on that they had.
Okay. And those are all down in Charleston?
In Charleston.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to go.
Yeah. I've been there once. I mean, it's a beautiful clinic, first off.
The facility is top-notch.
Yeah.
And the people are great. And then so many good restaurants.
Yep. It's hard to beat. So what are this being your 5th, right? What are some of the, things that you've seen or done here that you might not have seen before at some of the MOD Symposium classes?
We hadn't really seen any of the live, the veneers that were done yesterday, the denture that was done today. And then in my breakout session for implants, I just started placing implants 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I've done some freehand and some with surgical guides. And honestly, the surgical guides have all been designed by a designer, not myself.
Yep.
And just seeing the advantage that would come from designing my own, because then you're anticipating more during the surgery, knowing the direction that it's going and everything.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and break out for us real quick your digital workflow. Like, what do you use for an intraoral scanner? Do you have ExoCAD now? Like, what's your protocol?
We have iTero scanner, and we have an Emerald scanner. We use Plan Mecha mill. We have Sprint Ray.
Nice.
Print Pro 2 that is less than a year old.
Yep.
We design on Romexis.
Nice.
Right, so that's ExoCAD really.
Yep.
It's, that Plan Mecha has branded.
Yeah. Kind of put their label on there.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a pretty good workflow.
Yep.
Yeah. Kudos to you for kind of embracing digital after even several decades in practice.
It's keeping it fresh.
There we go. That's awesome. Well, thank you for stopping to chat with us. I appreciate it.
Yep, my pleasure.
Dr. Miriam Gale.
Yes.
Thank you for stopping by and chatting with me here.
Oh, of course. I love Imagine.
We appreciate that. So you've been sending us like milling center work and kind of lab cases and design work as well for a while.
Exactly.
So that's great. We appreciate that. Is this your first MOD Symposium?
This is my first MOD Symposium.
So what'd you think?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have to say my favorite thing about this is that in the morning, it's all live patients.
Yeah.
It's not just lecture, so you can see how it's implemented, what you do when there's a mistake where you can correct it.
Yeah.
This is the best kind of
It's
learning.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And it's something that sets them apart in my mind pretty significantly, So what are you doing this afternoon? Are those breakout sessions in the afternoon? What are you doing?
I'm on the veneer track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing veneers in your practice right now?
I'm doing porcelain veneers. I haven't done any printed veneers.
Oh,
so,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully I'll be bringing that back to my practice.
Yeah. That's awesome. So tell us about like your digital workflow. So you've got, what do you have?
So I have a CEREC.
Okay.
I have the CEREC system. So I have an OmniCam and an MCXL. So mine are on the older side. So I'm probably going to upgrade that soon. But our workflow is I scan the patients before they come in.
Okay.
Before their veneer appointment, we scan them, we choose a color,
Yeah.
take some photos, and then I send it out to a design service, like you guys,
Sure.
to design my wax up of what I want my veneers to look like.
Yeah.
And I get that back, and I print my model on I have a sprint race, so I print my model.
Yep.
And then the patient comes in, and I have hopefully all the porcelain blocks, all the stains. Prep the teeth, or if they're prepless, don't prep the teeth. Scan, biocopy everything.
Nice.
Mill it, stain and glaze with the Mio system.
Yeah, good.
And put them in same day.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great. Good for you. And word on the street is you might even start dabbling in a little bit of your own exocad design, perhaps?
Yes, I'm hoping.
Some inspiration from the MOD team?
The MOD team was great, and I'm going to try with your free trial and get started.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for stopping to chat with us. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
It was great to meet you.
Yeah, nice working with you.
Yeah, likewise. Take care.
Yeah.
Hey, so we got Dr. Michael Clark here attending the Boston MOD Symposium, and I just stopped him real quick to get his impressions of it. So you're an exocad user. You've had it since January.
Correct.
Is this the first MOD event that you've been to?
No, I've actually been to Charleston on 4 times. Master track, one and another master track.
Nice.
One, the first one was over 3 weekends. The other one I did the week-long occlusion course.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. What's some of your takeaways from, this is day 2 here of the MOD Symposium in Boston? What are some of your takeaways so far?
For me specifically, now that I've had a chance to use exocad a little bit, I'm learning the nuances, and that's what I'm really paying attention to during the presentations, especially for dentures.
Yes.
Little tips and tricks that you're taught the first time you go, but you're drinking out of a fire hose.
Yeah, right.
Where now that I've had a chance to play with it and really see with the little things that, okay, that makes sense now, that makes sense.
Yep.
So now I'm just taking away the pearls, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. So I was in there earlier watching Dr. Renne use that 3D printed VDO gauge.
Right.
Have you used that yourself?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and is it worth the 3D print that it?
Yes, it is.
All the money it takes to 3D print that thing.
Yes, it is. Yes,
awesome.
It is.
And it's one of the things I really admire about these guys is they come up with these tools.
Yes.
And they just make the files available on their website. Like here, there's this gauge we came up with.
I am so impressed with the content that they provide, as well as free and the resources. And it's like they could be charging for this, but they realize the value of. Give that value, give the tools for people, and they're going to do great things with it. Yeah. And it's going to come back to them as well. The more you give, the more you receive. Exactly. Right? Yeah. I was actually talking to Wally yesterday during our denture breakout, and talking about all the hurdles he's overcome to achieve this.
Yeah, I believe it.
And he kind of makes it sound like it's no big deal, but he did it without the tools.
Yeah.
He figured out he was having problems or struggles or hurdles, and figured out a way to come up with a tool to make it happen.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah, kudos to him, and we all get the benefit from it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So what breakout session are you doing this afternoon?
Dentures.
You're doing dentures?
Yeah, it's all 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I didn't realize you're doing a 3-part.
Yep. So any breakouts that you do, you're kind of in that for the entirety of the symposium.
Gotcha.
So yesterday for the denture one, it was more scanning, a little bit of records, some other kind of nuances about it. Today's more hands-on on the actual using exocad to design. Yep. So all the computers are set up. I was just up in there and saw that everybody's got a workstation. And then tomorrow, I believe Alan's going to come and talk to us more about records, how to do the pictures and all that stuff. More of a hands-on, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So, he's been a great addition to the team, right? Because photography. It's something that you could think it's like simple. You just got to take their picture, but like to really get what you need to have it be clinically useful.
Yes,
there's a lot of little gotchas in there that you want to make sure you do right.
So many, and what's fascinating is with my team, we've been doing photography for probably about 2 years now, almost 2 years, like more consistently.
Yeah,
and in some cases we've been wrapping up. We go back to take the post-op photos. And I'll say, well, let's go look at the pre-op.
Yep.
And I'm telling my teams, like, these are the pictures you took then versus now. Look where you come, how much you've advanced.
Yeah.
And they're like starting to pick out things. So definitely pictures are key.
It's worth it. Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Doc. I appreciate it. And enjoy the rest of the symposium.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So I've got Dr. Matt Hollick here from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Right here in the Boston area. Just getting to lunchtime on the third day. So, like, give us your thoughts on the symposium. How do you like it?
I thought it was a fantastic symposium. I thought, just amazing technology. I think the attendees are so energized. The equipment, the facility, everything has been fantastic.
They've done a great job.
Drinks,
right? Yeah. Did you go out on the yacht last night?
We went out on the yacht last night.
That's awesome.
It was a great experience. I mean, I don't think I've ever been to a CE symposium quite like that.
They know how to do it, right?
They know how to do it. It's fantastic. And like I said, the equipment, everything we've learned is just mind-blowing. It is truly the future of dentistry.
It really, really is. It really, really is. And I think you're a little fired up too. You might start to dabble in exocad after this.
Yeah, I got it now. I mean, I have all the stuff, and I barely scratched the surface of it. So I got to get into it. So.
There you go. I think that's pretty common, right? Like people get the intraoral scanners, they get the printers, they're like, all right, cool, I'm good to go. And they forget the part in the middle where it's like, all right, well, what are you going to print? You know?
Exactly. And I lead a large group of dental practices, and I need them to get to the next level. And
and it's got to start with you, right? Comes from the top down. Awesome. Well, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the symposium. We'll talk to you soon.
Sure thing.
Up next, we sit down and chat with Simon Ghosh from MOD. The MOD technology is something that has really been embraced by the MOD Institute team, particularly Dr. Mike DeFee, who uses it on 90% of his cases to capture the patient's actual functional mandibular movement, digitize it, and push it into the design software to better inform his prosthetic designs. Simon had a lot of great stuff to talk about with us, so I hope you really enjoy it. Here we go with Simon Ghosh from MOD. Simon Ghosh, MOD.
Nice to meet you, Neal. Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Good to see you too. So you guys are here at the MOD Symposium because, I mean, really, MOD jaw motion tracking recording system has become like a go-to tool for the MOD team. Especially Dr. DeFee. I know he jaw motion tracks with MOD jaw most of his patients. So it's great to see you guys here and have you be part of the event. What do you think of the symposium so far?
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, these guys are tremendous in the world of digital dentistry. Yeah. You know, there's different levels of digital dentistry, and since, I'd say probably since 2005, 2010, and really started ramping up is when we've seen the proliferation of digital, and it's all been, baby steps until you get major advancements.
Yeah.
And these guys have been able to culminate sort of the building blocks of digital dentistry, and really they're performing at a very high level.
Yeah.
And they're using the best of the evolution of digital dentistry, which I think is important.
Yeah.
Because with MOD jaw, it's a big part of what we do. We're sort of that culmination, including the physiological movement of the patient.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where all the digital components come together.
Yeah. Now we've talked about MOD jaw on the podcast before. We interviewed Dr. Wasim Salmi, but for those who might not be familiar with it, real quick, can you give me the 30-second summary of what MOD jaw
absolutely.
is?
So basically, we can reproduce a digital avatar of the patient. So basically what that means is we can take the kinematic movement of the patient and then incorporate that into the digital workflow. So I think we can all agree that, the standard hinge articulator is kind of what a lot of the processes and things we've used for the last 50 and beyond years.
Much more years, yeah.
And now we all realize that there's more to that functional movement than just that hinge. Right. So that hinge now and that functional movement in the world of digital dentistry now allows us to get above the horizon and then implement all the best tools to be able to put that all together into a better treatment for the patients. Yeah. And that's really kind of what I think we do. So in a nutshell, we take the physical kinematics of the patient, we incorporate that in the digital environment, we allow a complete digital workflow, and then we allow that to be to treat the patient.
Yeah, because we've relied on the articulator for however many decades, maybe even centuries at this point, because it was the best approximation we had for the patient, right? But still, at the end of the day, it's a pretty poor approximation. It's the best we can do, but it doesn't have all the nuance of the mandibular movement and function, right? So digitizing that and pushing that into, exocad and the design step to be able to design your prosthesis with the functional movement there for reference it's a game changer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's the diagnostic component of it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're able to see things that you traditionally weren't able to see before. Like you can see how the chewing cycle functions. You can see how the molars come together while a patient's chewing.
Yep.
You can see how the motion of a CBCT gets integrated as we incorporate that.
Yeah.
And that diagnostically is tremendously important. And then you add that into the implementation into the digital workflow, then you have also the complete workflow. And then not to mention that once you've completed the treatment of the patient, you can then verify that treatment's done correctly.
Right.
Or you still have some work to go. Because I think a lot of the analog world, kind of relies on the patient adapting to the finished product.
Yeah.
Where now we can verify digitally that the patient is treated to the finishing point.
It's a great point. I hadn't thought about it that way before. I mean, you think of it, pre-treatment for data collection, right, that you can use to inform your diagnosis and your treatment. But then after you've delivered the prosthesis or done whatever treatment, you planned, to then do jaw motion tracking afterwards to verify, okay, did we correct what was, misfunctioning before?
Yeah, we see that a lot in a lot of orthodontics. So, where we're seeing a lot is in TMD treatment, large prosthetic cases in orthodontics, because patients, a lot of times they'll change their appearance cosmetically, but that may have changed things functionally.
Yeah.
And over time that can create problems. And I think we start to see that, especially if some offices concentrate on more cosmetic and TMD type of. The more they do, the more they're going to the more they're going to see those kind of things over time.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So, it's fascinating.
So the equipment, the MOD jaw hardware, came out several years ago, and you kind of nailed it right out of the gate with the hardware. It's a very well designed system. It works well. It functions well. And since that time, as a company, your advancements have been all on the software side of things, right?
Absolutely, and that's really the key to our system.
Yeah.
The key to the system is the software development, and we've got some really tremendous developers that are working on that. And they really have a very solid understanding of all the functional movements, and not to mention the algorithms that we use to then represent those movements.
Yeah.
And as well, now we have sort of a freight train of AI, and that freight train of AI is really it really allows us to move much quicker.
Yeah.
Because if you introduce an analog process into an AI element, it doesn't have as concise a path of information.
Right.
But when you take a completely digital workflow and you multiply that, it allows the AI to become more efficient.
Yeah.
I mean, if a naysayer would probably say that my way is fine, but it's what I know. I think if you're looking to where the future is going, the more digital, the more predictable we can see things, the better and easier it's going to be in the future. A friend of mine said to me, he goes, "Technology is as bad today as it's ever going to be." And I think it's a pretty powerful statement. And when you think about all the developments of anything, computers, phones, everything has become much more precise and easy to use and more predictable. So I don't think digital dentistry is going to change.
Yeah. I mean, I look at, a technology like jaw motion tracking, in a similar story as intraoral scanning. I mean, whatever, 5-8 years ago, intraoral scanning was, kind of, some people had it, but it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is becoming now, and I think that is kind of, one of the main digital dentistry things to really, become, completely, nearly a requirement, for most clinics. And I think once that's established and kind of that digital workflow starts at the beginning, there in the chair with the patient, more things are going to be able to become that level of ubiquitous. And I think jaw motion tracking just makes sense because at the end of the day, the patient's the perfect articulator.
Right. It's funny you mention it because standard of care is something that's constantly evolving, right? And patient comfort is constantly evolving. And I think, we're far ways away from when you would go into the dental office with a few waiting chairs and that little 3x3 window where you peek in it. Dentistry, and consumers are becoming informed consumers.
Yeah.
And they're starting to understand there's an experience of dentistry, and painless the better. And then the fear, of going to the dentist, which is for decades been like that. Now people are wanting to go to improve their appearance and to get out of pain and to do those types of things. So the patient experience is high. And like I said, they're informed consumers, and they want to see when you're showing them their problem as opposed to trying to explain it on some models, or you're looking at an x-ray. Right? When you can say that click that I have is right there, and this is how we're going to treat it. One of the things I've seen is, and there's a dirty word in dentistry called sales, right? So, a lot of clinicians, they don't like to sell their patients treatment. But
it's case acceptance.
Exactly. So in a lot of ways now, all of a sudden, that visibility, the visual representation of what we show allows the patient to make those informed decisions. And a lot of times, some of these cases are, it used to be a few $100s here and there, maybe a few thousand, but now we're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Sure. And then we talk about that standard of care and just what's being done. I've been in this business long enough to know you can see when people do something well and they do it correctly versus the negative of when something's done not so well, and then then you see the impact it has on patients. I see a lot of people, and they say, I make my living based on fixing other people's work. And that's going to be important in the world of standard of care, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Simon, thanks a bunch for taking some time to chat with us today.
Absolutely, Neal. It's always a pleasure. Always, anytime we can sit down and chat will be fine by me.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you out there in the symposium, all right?
Absolutely.
Thanks a bunch.
Take care. Thanks again.
Last but certainly not least, I had the good opportunity to sit down with Dr. Wally Renne, one of the founding co-partners, along with Dr. Mike DeFee of the MOD Institute, and largely what people think of as the face of the MOD Institute. Dr. Renne had just a lot of excellent input and ideas about MOD, where it came from, where it's going, and how very excited he is to be in this moment bringing this type of education to the dental community. So without any further ado, Dr. Wally Renne, enjoy. Dr. Wally Renne.
I'm just happy to be here, man.
You're right. Yeah. I'm super excited that you took some time to sit down with us. Thank you. I appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
So,
this is a dream of mine to have my own symposium.
Yeah. Congratulations on it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
so
you.
It's like, technically it's the second one, but the first one you did was kind of in coordination with the IDDA folks, right?
And it was an international event. So we didn't get a ton of our alumni to come out because it was overseas. What we have here is a lot of MOD alumni, a lot of MOD family. And it's just really cool to see everybody come together and have such a good time. And the feedback's been really positive.
You guys had the yacht cruise in the Boston
That
Harbor
was fun.
there last
we had
night,
the cruise.
which is amazing. That must have been great. The weather was perfect for it.
It was amazing.
Thank goodness.
We got lucky there. And honestly, my whole team has just been really, really in their element. I have such a fantastic team. And what's really cool is we dream big at MOD, and we have these creative dream meetings every week. And I sit there and I give my ideas of what I think we need to be doing. And my team's like, we're going to make it happen.
That's awesome.
And they just do it. And they're amazing.
Now, how do you, so first off, how big is the MOD team these days? Because it started out back in the day, it was you and Mike and Sean.
The 3 partners. We have actually some really cool growth that's happening. We brought in Danny from Chile. She's our designer. We got her here because we wanted the best in the world, and we interviewed 200 designers. And
really?
Now
I heard you found her. So this is word of mouth. Found her on Instagram.
Yeah.
So we'll take a little tangent. Tell us about how that story went. Did you just like message her randomly?
Well, I did. It was kind of, she's like, this guy's creepy. Like, I don't know if this is real or fake, or is he going to abduct me? I'm like, I reached out to 200 people on Instagram, the world's best designers everywhere around the world. And I said, and what we did is we gave them a test. We said, here's these 5 cases, design it for us, send us back the files, and we're going to evaluate it. And from there, we narrowed down 200 to 12.
Wow.
Danny was one of the 12. And we flew them to MOD
to
interview them in person.
That's awesome.
At the time, Danny didn't speak too much English, but we learned a lot about her.
Yeah.
And we picked her because not only was she top 12 out of all the designers that we've ever, but she was just a good person.
Yeah.
And we are so excited to have her. She's been here with us for a year now.
Really?
So that was Danny. We got her. Yeah, she's amazing. And she's going for her U.S. citizenship now.
That's great. Good
yeah.
for her.
And now we have Alan from Brazil. He's a prosthodontist. He's an implantologist. And again, similar. I was like, I need to grow the MOD faculty. Let's bring in talent from around the world.
Yeah.
We have Casey now. You saw Casey on the main stage.
Yes.
He's pretty legendary.
Yeah, he's great.
We have Dr. Manito now. We have Dr. Evan. Like we're just,
it's fantastic.
We have just amazing people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that says something about, you know, yourself and Dr. DeFee as like the leadership team of like, you know, it's one thing to do excellent clinical work. It's one thing to do great digital work, great lab work, but it's a whole other skill set to build a team and impassion them and invigorate them.
Yeah.
And being here these past couple of days and watching your people work,
my team, it
amazing. Shines through 1,000,000,000%, man. So kudos to that.
Thank you. I'm so lucky for them.
Yeah. It's not luck. It's not luck, man. You guys have made this happen, and it shows. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other, like, I mean, you said, you know, at the beginning there, it's been your dream to have your own symposium.
Yeah, and I've always wanted what I've always wanted with symposiums is I don't really love when you go to like a symposium and you see all this amazing work on screen, the best of the best, with not a lot of like tips you could take home. You see a lot of inspirational stuff.
Sure.
But I really didn't want to do it that way. I wanted it to be live, in action. Hey guys, let's do 10 veneers on this patient. But hey, let's talk about the pros and the cons, the diagnosis, the treatment planning, the digital workup, the delivery. And if things go wrong, they go wrong because they go wrong in real life.
Yeah, guess what? This is real.
And how do we fix it?
Yeah.
You know, like on stage with the All on X this morning, we had a misscan of one of the pieces. Mike's like, oh, let's just go back and recapture it. Right?
This is how you take care of this.
It's not a big deal. And dentistry, digital dentistry especially, is not a big deal. Imagine physical, you pour it up, you send it, and then the lab calls you, hey, you gotta get the patient back and retake this. With digital, it's like instant. We knew immediately.
Yes.
Instead of
that wasn't right.
And it was 3 seconds to fix it, right?
Yep.
But it's real, and it's for the MOD family to see how we do things on the daily with our patient care.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that definitely sets this event apart. And it was something that I had to kind of reality check myself yesterday. I was talking to one of your attendees and I was like, hey, you know, like dumb question, like these live, you know, procedures on stage, that's not all that common, right? And he was like, yeah, no, nobody does that, you know, because I mean, it takes a lot of guts
for sure,
you know, and it takes a lot of confidence in your protocol.
Yeah.
You know,
you got, I mean, to deliver 10 veneers, not only deliver, scan, design, treatment plan, print, finish, and deliver in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like you got to know, you got to be on it.
Yeah.
But we scheduled 2 hours at MOD. So I had a whole extra hour. I was like, this could be cake.
Sweet. Right? I got some time for friendly banter. I can make some jokes.
Oh, we did. We shot t-shirts at everybody. So you know, it's not that stressful. And I just want people to see how fun dentistry could be.
Yeah.
I want docs, you know, because it's hard when you're in the trenches and you're hunched over all day.
Yeah.
Dentistry is a hard profession.
Yeah.
But what digital has really done for me, it's really reinvigorated me. You know, I'm 43 years old right now. I've been practicing for a while, and dentistry, you get in a rut. You do the same thing over and over for years and years. You get kind of beat up. You get beat up by your patients. You get beat up from multiple angles. And sometimes it's like, for dentists, I want to inspire them. I want them to see digital is not just a way to turn a quick ROI. It's not just a way to do the same thing that you've been doing with a different tool. Digital is a way that you could really enjoy what you do for a living in a way that you couldn't have imagined years ago.
Can make your profession fresh again.
It makes it, it makes it to where your stress levels are lower and you have fun.
Yeah.
At least, that's what the MOD alumni are telling us. They're like, man, you've changed my practice. You've changed my life.
Yeah. I talked to a guy yesterday. He's been practicing for 30 years and he adopted a digital workflow or started maybe 5 years ago. And he have that same sentiment of like, man, this has made it cool for me again. It's
exactly.
it's like, wow, I can do things better, more differently, have more control, have faster turnaround. Oh, and yeah, by the way, better ROI and profitability for my business.
Yeah, and that just comes along with it. I think dentists who jump into digital for the ROI have a little bit different spin on it. It shouldn't be about, hey, let's get these tools to just increase ROI. It's let's get these tools to do same day veneers, same day dentures. We could cut down appointment time. We could make it better for the patient.
Yeah.
They don't have to come back 4 or 5 times. I remember dentures used to take me literally 5 visits.
Yeah.
5 at least 1 hour appointments.
Yeah.
To do what we did yesterday on stage in 3 hours. Yeah. Like, I couldn't imagine.
No brainer.
It's like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And so like, I think they need to see that aspect of it too. It's not like, let's just cut our lab bill down by milling a crown.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Right.
Just use the lab if you want that.
Yeah.
That's not the reason to do it.
Yeah. The right solutions make it a win for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And I know for us, it's like, I always try to tell my team at Imagine, it's like, this is all about the patient, and for us, like, you're right there, you're working on them. For us, we're several steps removed. So it's even more important to remind people, it's like, hey, at the end of the day, like, we all need a why we do what we do. Yeah. And it's all about humans and giving them the ability to smile and feel good about it, or just have, the ability to go to a restaurant and enjoy a meal.
Yeah, exactly. And at MOD, we have the mentality kind of twofold. It's about the patients ultimately in the end. But what we really want to focus on too is like the health of the dentist. Like we really try to focus on things that will bring joy, decrease stress, make things more efficient, free them up for time. I tell docs, so docs are always coached that, hey, unless you're spinning a drill in a patient's mouth, you're losing. You're not making money. You're not. Yeah. They belittle the concept of making like a denture, or maybe making an all-X prosthetic, or taking on exocad design in your office. People say, oh, the naysayers will be like, oh, you're just wasting ROI on that. You need to be spinning the drill, but we don't have that mentality.
Yeah.
You could be extremely efficient when you take control and take power of all these workflows and combine them: scanning, designing, milling, and printing. Yeah. And when you have that command center in your office and that control, all of a sudden, I think time, you free up the most valuable thing, which is time. And also it's time away from patients. So instead of maybe seeing an extra patient at the end of the day, you design that all X prosthetic. It takes you, an hour, and that's your ROI. Right. And it's low stress. Have a coffee, do a little computer work, send it to the printer. The team takes care of it. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Have some creativity.
Have some fun and creativity. Step out of the clinical environment just for a second. Yep. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Instead of cramming in 3 more patients at the end of the day, and you'll actually mental health will go up. Yeah. Enjoyment will go up.
I completely believe that. Yeah. I completely believe that.
Yeah. And it's great. And, I think that we're at a special time in dentistry. We're going through a renaissance period right now where we have amazing technology that didn't exist. Prices are coming down.
Big time.
Printing is changing dentistry. And it's like people are overwhelmed with, how do I use all this stuff? Yeah. Because it's not what we were taught in dental school. It's not as easy as some people let you believe, where you just plug it in and you just hit print automatically, right? There's things that you need to know. Yeah. Teams need to be empowered. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's now, these clinicians, lab technicians, assistants, they're now manufacturing. Yep. And that's, like you said, they don't exactly go over that in dental school.
They don't. And I think, everybody on the team is cross-trained in design, printing, and milling.
Nice.
We have technicians, we have assistants, and clinicians. And when you're all on the same bandwidth, and it's not, hey, that's their job.
Right. I don't know how to do that.
I don't mess with that. Yeah. And that's the mentality we don't really like to spread at MOD. We want, hey, it's a team. Yeah. Hey, I want the dentist to know a little bit about design, so when they're with their technician or whatever, they could talk on the same level. Yep. Hey, can you merge this file to this? I put a marker there to allow you to do that. And the technician's like, yeah, man, that's awesome. Instead of like, just, it's your job to do silos. That. Yeah. And then you get something back and it's not right. And it's like,
And they had no idea why it wasn't right because they don't know what you're doing over there.
Right. And then the dentists become better dentists when they know the lab side.
Yeah, billion%.
Yeah.
Billion%.
And we're all in it together. It's not about dentists getting rid of lab technicians. That's not our philosophy. It's about growing your knowledge and building your team, your dream team, so that your office could be so efficient. That might look like bringing in a designer.
Yep.
Maybe you have a solo technician in your office. Maybe you train up a very talented dental assistant with the proper training to do the work. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just, look, I'm very lucky to be where I'm at in my career and have the team that I have. And we're growing really fast, and we're very excited for the future of dentistry. There's never been a better time than right now to be a dentist. Never. People say the golden age of dentistry is behind us. Oh man, if I was practicing when my dad was practicing, you know. Yeah. And that is not true. We are in the best time right now. Yeah. I mean, I would quit right now if all I had was zinc phosphate and polycarboxylate cement and PF and porcelain fused metal. Yeah. And, you know, cast post and cores.
Seriously.
I would just
like, I'm gonna go do something else.
I would just probably, I would shovel asphalt. Right. But we're just out of time right now. Could you believe, like, the stuff that we're able to do, other professions dream of. Right. Medical professions. They're like, wait, you guys could 3D scan somebody and print a prosthetic? Yeah. Like in the same day? Same day. Yeah. They're like, what? Yeah, that's mind blowing. They're like, right? Why isn't that in medicine?
The best thing is when the patients notice too.
Oh,
right?
They
you know,
do.
It's like, oh wow, hold on a second, I'm gonna get it before I leave. Yeah. Holy cow.
They appreciate it. They've heard of additive manufacturing. They've heard of 3D printing in the news. Yeah. They just think you're the coolest. Like, you're like, hey, I'm going to 3D print that cusp. You broke that cusp off. I'm just going to 3D print one and bond it right on.
Toss it right on there.
You don't have to touch the rest of your tooth.
Wow, man, you're a rock star.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, all right. So let's go back a little bit. So before MOD, you were at MUSC.
I was an educator. I was the assistant dean of digital dentistry. I had a digital dentistry residency. It was a 2-year program, heavy surgery, heavy digital workflows. Yeah. And you know what? I was building this big thing for the university, and I was grateful for my time at the university, but I wanted to build my own team the way that I wanted it to be run, and I didn't want to have constraints put on me by a university of, hey, you can't use that scanner, or you can't teach that workflow.
Which there are significant constraints, like the
very heavy constraints. Yeah. And there's a lot of politics, and I was starting to get a little bit too old for politics, so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to take a huge leap here. I was a full professor with tenure. Yeah. And an assistant dean. Yeah. And I came home and I told my wife, and I'm like, hey, you know, I think I'm going to quit, and I'm going to go start something from scratch. Yeah. And she's like, okay. She's like, I support you.
Did you have a bad day?
Yeah. I was just, you know, she's like, yeah. She's like, did something happen at work? No, I was like, I just want to do this for myself. And she's like, go for it.
That's awesome.
So I was like, all right. Yeah. I went into work the next day, put in my notice. Yeah. And Mike had called me on the phone, and he was like, we were just shooting the breeze. And I'm like, hey, Mike, let's do something big in Charleston. Let's build a training center. Let's build a practice. Let's give back to the community. Yeah. Let's do some nonprofit stuff. And he's like, all right, I'm in. And that was it.
That was it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. This is where you're at now. You know, where is MOD going from here? We talked with Mike yesterday about, you know, you're going to have an awesome event in Austin next year.
Oh, I can't wait for Austin. Yeah.
There's a bunch of cool things going up, but you know, give me the bigger picture than that. Like, where are you guys going? Like,
we're going to keep growing our team nationally and internationally. Yeah. We're focusing really heavy on real, tangible online content that could help the practitioner just in time, like through the ability to search through AI to get to the answer. Yep. Because we have thousands of hours of videos, but if you need an answer right now, you can't like sift through thousands of videos. Yeah. And so we've built this AI search engine that has 2 years worth of our knowledge base fed into it, which enables people to be able to get just-in-time information right there with video content that's out of this world.
That's brilliant.
And so we're building that content constantly, and that's what my vision is to help people through that content. And I'm growing the team around that. I got a periodontist, prosthodontist, more specialists coming on board to give secret information that's usually only in that specialty, but for everybody. And I want just everybody to learn. And then we're just going to continue to do our incredible hands-on courses that we've been doing. You know, we live it and breathe it every day, and to be able to inspire other practitioners to do the digital workflows at the level that we think is standard is inspiring. I mean, I do it for the people. Right now we're in growth mode. And so, you know, pretty much all we're thinking about is how do we grow the team with our family, people from around the world that we love, have the same vision. Bringing in good, solid people, the best of the best. That's our focus.
Oh yeah. Find great people, get them on the team.
It's all about
let
the
them do
people.
great
It's
things.
not about me.
Yep.
It is about who you surround yourself with. And we want people with great integrity, open-minded people, digital people. And people who actually practice dentistry. There's a lot of educators out there that maybe haven't practiced dentistry in decades or years. I want people in the trenches. And that's hard to find. It's hard to find somebody in the trenches doing the work digitally that can also teach and communicate to somebody that concept without the huge ego, without the big attitude. And do you know, like,
be humble about
the
it.
crazy whatever afterlife they have or nightlife. I just want like real people. And that's what we've done, and we're continuing to build that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, like I said, it really shows this event has been phenomenal.
Thank you.
We're super proud to be here. We're glad to be
I'm
a part of it.
glad you guys are a part of it.
We love working with you guys. Everybody that comes to us from MOD is just a pleasure to work with and is really excited about.
They're super pumped.
Getting going with ExoCAD.
Especially with ExoCAD, right?
And so it's just been phenomenal.
Thanks for supporting us too. You know, we believe ExoCAD is the cornerstone to the modern digital dental practice. And MOD has no relationship with ExoCAD. People always say, well, what's your sponsor with ExoCAD? I'm like, zero.
We're just super fans.
I just like the software, man. I don't have to be paid off.
Right.
I'm like, come on. Right. And because we really feel like if you have all these incredible tools, you got a cool mill, you got a printer, you got a scanner. Well, the thing missing to tie all those things together is ExoCAD. And people are like, I'm scared. It seems complicated.
What do you, so like we hear that a lot, right? It's the learning curve. It's the learning curve. I don't have time. Oh, it's so difficult. Like, what do you say to people?
You know what's funny though? Those same people will spend 600 hours learning MedEtCAD or some other inexpensive FreeSoft, Blue Sky Bio. Not to call those companies out and say anything bad about them. But those companies run off of the sunk time fallacy where you get the software for free or for like $50 a month and you spend hundreds of hours learning it. And so it's the sunk time concept of, well, I spent all the time learning it. I'm just going to stick with it.
I have to keep going.
And what I tell young practitioners and practitioners trying to get into design, I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? You sacrifice family time and your valuable time to learn something, and then now you're limited. Congratulations, you could do an inlay. But that's all you could do.
I know.
Right? But what if you instead spent that same amount of time to learn the most powerful software in the world that could do anything?
Is that not a better investment?
I think you only have time in your life and your career to learn, the average clinician to learn one software and master it. Just think about that. Why would you waste that token on some software that could barely do anything?
That's probably made by a company whose primary focus isn't creating excellent software.
It's not.
Right?
It's just like an aside.
We'll include this with the scanner. Or we'll include this with the printer.
It's a nugget. But the dentists, for some reason, they see the price of ExoCAD or whatever. It's like, and they're like, God, can't do that. And I'm like, look, the price of ExoCAD is not the issue. It's the time. And where do you want to spend your time learning? Just learn the best and be done with it.
right?
That's good advice.
And from there, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Patient comes in with a broken tooth snapped off at the gum line. You could print an immediate flipper right there in about 15 minutes, design it in 5 minutes.
Yep.
You could do anything.
Yeah.
And that's the real power. And that's what we try to inspire people at MOD. Almost every single one of our courses has some type of design component.
Yeah.
And we get some pushback. People come and are like, I don't want to ever design.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, just follow along. And at the end, they're like, I love design. Yeah. This is going to change everything.
I know.
And I'm like,
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And sometimes it takes 2 courses. They
Yeah.
come to one, they're kind of like this. And they're like, I just can't see myself doing this.
Yeah.
And the next, and they tinkle a little bit. And the next one, they're like, I love this. I can't imagine practicing without it.
Yeah.
And maybe it is not for everybody, but that's where collaboration comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay.
And inspiration.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Helping people believe or understand that they can do something that they thought they couldn't do.
Dentists are brilliant. Top of the top. They're the cream of the crop. They're smart people. What they do badly, though, sometimes is they cut themselves short of what they could achieve. They're like, oh, I could only do this thing.
Right.
I'm only good at this thing. But they forget you could be good at anything.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just a little bit of training and you're ready.
Yep. Just ride the struggle bus for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
It's okay.
That's how you learn. That's how you grow, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Wally, well, I got one last question for you, and
Sure.
it's the way I like to end every one of these podcasts.
Yeah.
Dr. Wally Renne, do you like going to the dentist?
I do my own dental work.
Do you really? 100% of the time?
I did these veneers on myself.
Yeah?
I did this
They look pretty
online
good.
filling. These
Yeah.
are printed.
Yeah?
They're 2 years, almost 2 years now. I don't like to as a dentist, I don't like to inconvenience another dentist with my problems. I get calls from everybody around the world. Can you fix my tooth? Can you fix my tooth? And I do. Come on in. I'll fix it. I don't even charge.
Yeah.
Just come on in. We'll take care of you, right?
Sure, sure.
But when it comes time to take care of myself, it's not because I don't trust other dentists. I don't want to call Mike up and be like, hey, Mike, I know you got a busy day and you really want to do all these other things, but can you just do these veneers
This
for
little,
me? It's maybe a weird glitch of mine. It's I just don't want to inconvenience people.
Yeah.
I'll just take care of my own dental problems.
So I guess in that way, maybe you do.
Yeah.
You do like going to the dentist.
Yeah, I like going to go see.
Well, it's certainly an answer I've never had before,
Yeah.
and
Probably
apt coming from you, right? Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks,
well,
man.
Wally, thank you
Yeah,
very
thank you
much.
so much.
Again, I appreciate it. And to everybody watching and listening, thanks for tuning in and checking this out. It's been a great time here at the MOD Symposium. We look forward to doing it again in Austin next year. And we look forward to bringing you more stuff like this here on the Digital Dental Podcast. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks to Wally and the whole MOD team. And happy CAD camming, everybody. Take care.